And the live video is up.
Okay.
And I will take off my flip-flops, which I don't even know why I wore them down here.
Because you're all dressed up.
All right. Well, welcome to another Wednesday night of music. Sure, I'm going to give it a sec, because usually it takes it a minute or two to come over here. I can see what happens here.
There we are.
There we are. Maybe the secret is just getting everything. You already have people on. Paula's on. Hi, Paula. Some other folks are on. Sarah's on. Okay.
It was either my taunting them with the fact we were going to have the kazoo, or the fact that I told them we'd have watery death, or that it's drawing them tonight.
We have multiple watery deaths in
Yep.
tonight's set.
Yep.
It just worked out that way. It's not like we planned it. So, yeah, I forgot. I saw that you made a post yesterday. I totally forgot until about 6 o'clock, and I just wasn't on Facebook today.
Yeah,
I was,
fine. But I
yeah.
did one yesterday to make sure that.
So, yes, we have two songs with watery death.
Our two longest songs, both on Capo too.
And at least our Celtic piece is definitely not a happy song.
No, it isn't. And our happiest song is in a minor key, so not the second song. It's a happy song.
I guess it is. I don't.
The lyrics are very happy.
the jury is out on that one. You gotta wipe off my glasses. I
did that before I came down because
Yeah, I was totally not thinking about it, and
it's much easier to read the music when you don't have smudges in front of your eyes.
it's like, oh, is that what everything looks like? No, I really should try and clean my glasses a little more. So yeah, so we're back for another week. So let's see. So this week I have brought back out the Ovation 12 string. This is the model. I don't know. Oh, there it is. Yep. 1115. I got this off of Facebook Marketplace for $400. It's been played for sure, but I'm thrilled with how it sounds. And it, as a feature, did not have any electronics in it because this is a 1979 Ovation Balladeer, and I'm actually becoming more interested in getting guitars that don't have electronics in them than have electronics in them, because you can put something much better in the guitar yourself.
Well, and they tend to put in $15 electronics and charge you $50 for them.
Or 15 and charge you 150, especially considering that, it's stunning to me when you see a guitar for $1,000, $1,200, $1,500. It's got $10 piece of electronics in it. And because this guitar has no pickup of any kind and no way for me to do it, and the headstock of the Ovations is a little different shaped, I brought out my Sabine made this little tuner. I bought it. I must have bought it close to 30 years ago. And what's cool about it, I doubt you'll be able to see it, but the face, the front face of it lights up, and so when you're sitting here playing, you're looking down at it. And I actually bought this tuner because I could not tune my guitar in the dark at Penzig or camping events or any place where the light was poor. And I didn't have pickups on all my guitars back then. And 30 years later, that thing still works. And I just had to trot out for the music folks. So when I was cleaning out one of the cases to put some guitars and organize, found my first guitar tuner. This was made by Ovation. It is a 6-note tuner. You actually have to physically change the setting for the note. It does have a mic, but its big feature was it had a plug-in. It takes a 9-volt battery. I will assume it still works. it was my first tuner for a long time because it was the only kind of tuner that was available. And then they started
Well,
making
except for
little,
pitch pipes.
except for pitch pipes, right?
Because when I got my guitar 50 years ago, first thing I did was buy a pitch pipe.
And you can buy, I have really nice, I've gotten several chromatic pitch pipes from some place in England. They have nice prices, they come in a little box, and when I teach music stuff or I talk about performance, I teach a bunch of bardic classes, I've taught a bunch of them online, and I taught them in person at the Rum. I always pull out a pitch pipe and people are like, have never seen it, and it's like, come on folks, didn't your music teacher
We're teaching people who are too young.
Yeah, that's possibly it.
Here's your bottle opener.
Here's my bottle opener.
Tonight I am playing, stand up so I don't hold it in front of my face. This is a Donner concert ukulele. Donner is the brand name. I believe it's a Chinese company actually, but these get decent reviews. Concert is about 2 inches longer than the soprano, so it's a little bigger than the ones I normally play. And I've retuned it, restrung it, so the top string is low instead of high, an octave lower than comes standard. This was a gift from Drew, who, disappointingly, he bought it for himself and never learned to play it, but his misfortune is my good fortune, because I really enjoy playing this. And I've been using it, I've been teaching myself flamenco ukulele, and this is my flamenco uke, which is why I put the lower string on it.
There's that. I think we still got a few more to talk about. We're too organized tonight. We actually had everything done and set up, and so I'll mention it and I'll mention it again. So next week, one of my lifelong friends, I went to high school with Rick Smith. You'd know him in the SCA as Connor McClellan. He's one of the more accomplished bards anywhere, period.
And I met him probably at least 5 years, maybe 10 years before I met you.
Yeah, probably. I met, he was a senior, we went to Wayne High School in Huber Heights. He was a senior in 81. I was a sophomore in 81. And through Matt Flannery, who had gotten me hooked on playing D&D, we ended up kind of merging our collective D&D groups because we were playing D&D like 5 nights a week and four times a day on weekends. I don't know. We played a lot of D&D in the 80s. So we merged our groups and we all became friends. And Connor was my second squire. I squired him in 1994. We've been friends. He's one of the people. He and Keith Lewis, who will hopefully be joining us in a few weeks, are two of the reasons I became a better guitar player as quickly as I did. We spent a lot of time playing, and I learned by watching. I kind of have he joked, he's got like photographic reflexes. If you try to explain it to me, I have a tough time, but if you just show it to me. And and then Connor and I trooped all over the kingdom playing in bardics and competing in bardic competitions for a good stretch of the 90s. And so I was just telling somebody about that. For the folks who've been in the SCA a long time, in 1994, 2 groups up in what is now North Shield, well, one in Midlands and one in North Shield, put on an event called King Rene. And it was an amazing sort of a replica of a tournament in period, a 14th century tournament. The Tenons of Noble Folly and the Brotherhood of the Peacock hosted the event. Myself and David Dragonhawk had been knights about 5 minutes. But the Queen had said that they were going to talk about a gentleman from Winnipeg at this event, which was in Nordskogen in Minneapolis. So David Dragonhawk had a big van. Me, Connor, David Dragonhawk, and one of my other squires, John Alexander, we piled into a van and we drove up there because we thought if some guys from Ohio said, "We know who that guy is from Manitoba, you should knight him," it would have a positive impact. It did. He was one of the few people in this kingdom ever knighted by the hand of the Queen. And we had a great event. We won the tournament, and the prize was the best tournament prize in the history of tournament prizes. The 2 households, the Brotherhood of the Peacock and the Tenants of Noble Folly, cooked dinner for the 5 team members plus 1 at their camp at Penzic, and all you had to do is bring yourself. You didn't have to bring anything. They had everything there. It was a phenomenal meal. It had entertainment. It was just down the hill from where Royal is now, and it was the best tournament prize of all time. And the effort they put into that event was just astonishing. So a lot of fun, a lot of fun. So Connor will be with us next week. In fact, we're starting work on that music. We're actually going to practice tonight because I have a Halfway to St. Patty's gig tomorrow at the pub at Rookwood Commons down in Cincinnati, and then we're playing out at the Front Street Cafe in New Richmond, Ohio, and the owner, Bob Lees, who is a great fan of ours, great friend to the band, actually pinged us and said they are completely sold out. Please bring lots of sing-along sheets, do sing-alongs, but they've sold. Their massive outdoor patio has like 30 tables. It can seat 100 people socially distanced. It's an enormous space. He said they're completely sold out. So we're very excited. So double up gigs in the era of COVID. And we wear masks all the rest of the time. And so it's been pretty fun. So, all right. So we've had some requests. This, I think maybe John Howard mentioned this song.
No,
who's
I think Sarah asked for this artist, not the song specifically.
So, so Sarah, I suspect this is a song
it's like we had pretty good odds it was one of them because there were
yeah.
3 people who asked for everything and nobody else, make
We're
suggestions.
just artists, yeah. This guitar has close to perfect intonation, except like most guitars on the low E string, and because it's a 12 string, you really notice when you're capoing if the intonation is out a little bit. Yeah. So here we go. Thanks for joining us. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Never So that was, of course, the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald by Gordon Lightfoot. I forgot to put the year on that. I believe it's 1974. I got to do some cleanup edits on these sheets eventually anyways. Great tune. Has my all-time favorite chord. Actually, this is a B sus2, but the form, the A sus2 chord form is one of my all-time favorite chords. We also, when we were doing this song, which you might have noticed, we changed a couple of lines, because Gordon Lightfoot changed a couple of lines, though he didn't go back and change his recordings. But when he performs the song live, at 7 p.m. the main hatchway caved in, versus at 7 p.m. it grew dark. It was then. He said, "Fellas, it's been good to know you," because they did some. They researched this, and they actually think that probably a rogue wave.
They found the ship.
They found the ship, and it was probably literally broken in half by a rogue wave, which tells you something about the size of.
And none of the hatches were open. So
right, none of the hatches were open, and originally in a musty old hall in Detroit they prayed, but the church, which is not called the Maritime Sailors Cathedral, but the Sailors Church, the parishioners complained to Gordon Lightfoot that their church was not musty. So he changed it to in a rustic old hall, which I actually thought was pretty clever. Great lyrics, great rhyming and scanning in that song, really something. Okay, so this is a happy song, I'm told.
The lyrics are happy.
Oh yeah, and I'm drinking Cranberry Road.
And I have my Mad Bark.
Cranberries and apples naturally go together. That's really tasty. Okay, so we'll let you all be the judge if this is a happy song. Trying to make sure we play it slow enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. Saw Blue Skies by Irving Berlin, 1926, but probably one of the most well-known arrangements is by Willie Nelson. I believe when I was looking up some info about this song, it had over 1,000 artists had performed this song. It has a lot of weird chords. We simplified it a little bit. We thought, well, I wonder what key Irving Berlin wrote it in. And for you music folks, I had never heard of a B minor 13 flatted 9 or
because it was written for piano, so
right.
someone came and added chords later, and the piano chords don't always translate well.
The legendary F9 chord was more like the FU chord. And I'm like, anytime, so the first thing you're going to know on guitar is if it has more than 5 finger positions. If it has more than 4 finger positions, you can't really play it. If it tells you have to individually press down 5 strings, pretty unlikely.
Especially since it was the 5th string was the one you were not supposed to play.
Right, I was supposed to not play 1 string, and I was like, yeah. I'm still not convinced it's a happy song.
It's about how this guy always seems blue when you're in love.
Oh, is that what it's about?
Yeah.
Maybe they should have written it with some happier chords. But it's Irving Berlin, so we can't really say a whole lot. He wrote a heck of a lot of good music. All right, now for something that is actually not happy. Properly written.
But it sounds happier.
I don't think
Because
so.
the chords are a little bit more up-tempo.
Well, maybe. One, two, three, four. My name is Jamie Raeburn. In Glasgow I was born. In place of habitation, I am forced to leave with scorn. In place of habitation, it's I must hang on. Think of bonny hills and dales of Caledonia. It was early on one morning, just by the break of day. With 10 feet he came to us, and unto us did say, arise, you helpless convicts, arise, you one and all. This is the day you are astray from Caledonia. We all arose, put on our clothes, our hearts were full of grief. Our friends who stood around the coach could grant us no relief. Our parents, wives, and sweethearts, their hearts were broken, torn, to see us leave the hills and dales of Caledonia. Farewell, my dearest mother, I'm vexed for what I've done. I hope none shall cast up to you this race that I have run. I hope God will protect you when I am far off, afraid of bonny hills and dales of Caledonia. Farewell, my honest father, you were the best of men. And likewise, my old sweetheart, it's Catherine is her name. No more will walk by Clyde's clear stream, by the broody lawn, for I must leave the hills and dales of Caledonia. My name is Jamie Raeburn. In Glasgow I was born. The place of habitation, I am was a traditional Scottish piece called Jamie Raeburn's Farewell, and I figured out I had a chord. We play it. One of the things that we've discovered is a lot of these songs, you kind of feel your way through them once you kind of get how they work. We will play them correct even if the note on the sheet is not in the right place. We'll play them the right way. It's important to go back and fix the sheets because, again, at some point we're going to get our lives back, and we're going to have our hoot nannies again, and we have 3 or 4 of those a year, and these are all going to be in the hoot book. And for folks that have maybe never heard the song, the chords kind of need to be in the right place. Our arrangement of that, though, was from a local band that we followed until they kind of disbanded called Homeland. They were really fantastic. We went our 2 trips to Ireland and 1 trip to Scotland with them. Caledonia is Scotland for anyone who doesn't know that, but I would bet every single person watching us knows that. Little something completely different. This is actually a happier song than just about any song in this set, because the last song's not happy, even though it's all in major chords.
Right, the last song is definitely not happy.
This is a song I kind of wanted to learn for a long time, and like many 80s songs, the arranging of it can be challenging, but hopefully you all will. Some of you will recognize it, and
Maybe I should do that.
This song is right at the very top of my range, and that was after we lowered it full step. We take it down a full step.
I took down a full step, and it's almost too low for me, so our range is...
But we're gonna give it a go, because that's what you do, and in 6 days, this is what we put together. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was I Can Dream About You. Words and music by Dan Hartman. Copyright 1983 for the soundtrack of one of the great Bad, Good, Bad, or Good, Bad, Good, Good, Bad, Bad, Good movies of the 80s, Streets of Fire, which is an awful movie, but it's eminently watchable. The soundtrack is astonishing, and this is my beer bet song, because in the movie, the song is performed by 4 singers sort of imitating something like this, the Platters or something along those lines, and the lip syncing is stunningly good. But Dan Hartman wrote this, and they did not sing nor perform it. It's all Dan Hartman, and the reason he didn't make a gazillion million megabucks in the music industry was because he was a slightly portly 36-year-old German white guy with thinning hair, and so his songs are performed. But that we really wondered if we were going to actually be able to learn this song.
And this is the one we need to send a review to. The Ultimate Guitar song, the guy had a 5-star rating, and then somebody basically trolled him, and his
Gave
rating,
him a 1-star rating, and they were just being
and
jerks.
the average then brings it down. It's just a couple bad ratings can make a difference, and so we
Yeah, we need to go and
because he did an excellent job of figuring out the chords to it.
yeah, we just lowered it, but we wouldn't have been able to do that if we do use Ultimate Guitar because it's just.
It probably
If we
saves
had to scratch,
hundreds of hours.
if we had to scratch every single one of these songs together, we would not be doing this either every week, or you'd be hearing 2 songs a week. A lot of these are, and Ultimate Guitar is a really good website. I think they offered us an introductory year for, I want to say, $25, and then I think at the end of the year it'll go up to $40. Eminently worth it if you were doing a lot of covers or things of that nature.
And they do have a lot of free songs on there too. It's just their official version, which you know is correct.
Most of it.
You can't access without having a membership.
Right. Basically,
But
you
they
can
have-
use it for free. There's a reason why if you go out and look, if you type in the name of a song, if you type in What a Wonderful World guitar chords, the first thing that comes up in Google every single time is Ultimate Guitar. There's a reason. We've been using it for a while, but I decided that we discussed it, and we just decided it was worth supporting them. And it's a nice site. And plus, one feature it has is for anything that's been user added, there's a button where you can transpose the song by 1 semitone up or down at a time, and you can download the song yourself in whatever key you wanted.
I did get someone a 1-star review last night though. None of the chords seemed quite right, so I tried the ukulele version. The ukulele version had the chords, no words. It just said play this chord 4 times, then play this chord 3 times. And I said I thought it was incomplete.
Please put the words in. It's not like we're going there just to get a big pile of guitar chords. If that was the case, we could just make up our own pile. Maybe there's a spot that time I didn't have to adjust the note.
It's closer to the fret this time, I think.
Yeah,
than
I
normally
think
do.
so. So I don't even remember where I picked this song up. I may have heard it on something like in Dayton. We have out of Antioch College, Cindy Funk has a show called The Deer Green Place, and they play a lot of Celtic music. This isn't really Celtic. I
It's
heard
Americana
It's
more.
Americana. I don't know. Maybe I heard it on the Midnight Special. Who knows?
That's another watery death though.
Another watery death song for you. So if this doesn't get you your fill of watery death, we don't know what else we could do. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the melting snows of Ontario, where the wind will make you shiver. 'Twas the month of May up in Georgian Bay, near the mouth of the sandy gray falls. Through the tops of the trees you'll hear in the breeze the echoes of a mighty elm. I'll be damned to break this jam, or it's breakfast in hell. Then sandy gray is on the day, the echoes of a mighty elm. I'll be damned to break this jam, or it's breakfast in hell, boys. Breakfast in hell. That was Breakfast in Hell, words and music by Slade Cleaves, 2000, a relatively modern song. That's 20 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
I'm telling you. I don't know if I heard this song, but Master Lewis Blackmore and I had performed it a few times when he was still here in Kingdom. Just really liked it. It was another one I really wanted to learn and get learned and actually get some decent amount of practice time on it.
It's nice. It's
Oh
nice.
wow, we really went over. That's probably we had two.
5-minute songs.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got one more song tonight. I was surprised. I was listening. I have my music on my phone organized into eras, 50s, 60s, 70s, etc., and I was listening to. I don't remember which era I was listening to. Probably listening to 50s, and this song came on, and I did not realize that this artist is who wrote this song. So I suspect some of you will recognize it, but we've been having a lot of fun with this artist. So 1, 2, 3, 4. was Move It On Over by the legendary Hank Williams, 1947. I know that George Thorogood and the Destroyers made this a pretty big hit for themselves, probably in the 80s. I had no idea Hank Williams had written this song, and it doesn't surprise me. I'm never surprised anymore when I find out that Hank Williams wrote some really great song that a whole bunch of other people recorded. There's a reason his career is considered legendary, and that's a big part of it. So I heard it just in my random play and said, oh, we ought to do this. Endless something fast. Nobody died a watery death.
Guy just ended up in the doghouse.
Ended up in the doghouse. Some of the lines in this are just too funny. So that's our show for this week. Please join us next week. Again, Rick Smith, Connor McClellan, and the SCA is going to be joining us. We'll be on the big stage to do a bunch of fun songs.
Yeah.
I think we actually have 6. So I was just thinking. Actually, I think a number of the songs next week are all in like major keys. Are kind of fun.
And 2 of them are requests, I believe. Actually.
2 requests. So thanks again for joining us. We hope that you are all well and safe. And we're going to continue doing music. So we'll be back next week. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Oh, JJ was on tonight.